Oh. Hi. Oh my god. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Okay. So today, what do? We work on Quickshell. Again. It's been a while since I actually touched Q about. Thing is, I've been working mostly on the creative aspect of my game. Homework on C and the P3 API. And god do I hate my life, but whatever. And also I worked on the I worked on some videos, of course. So not a lot of development besides C. As you can see, when I take HX, just that's the completion that I get because I was implementing stuff in C. So, but we're not gonna do that today. So we need to implement our friend Quickshell first. Let's do that. You're not annoying, so that's perfect. Okay, so now I did some stuff before. Specifically, I made a container for that, so just literally a layer window where you can actually give it a name, because I discovered that you can give this name using the WLR layer shell, the WLR layer shell namespace, which is great. Hi. So hi, welcome. And yeah, so that's nice. So I use that to generate the window, which is useful, but also something I discovered, maybe not in components, I think it's in modules. Yeah, I discovered something. So I was testing stuff. My shell doesn't work, but something that that is interesting is that you can mask a layer window. And that's really useful. And how do I know that? Well, because if you go through that, what I'm using is the panel window, right? That's my layer window is just a class of panel window, but it's extended from QS window, and QS window has a mask, which is a region. And so I discovered and I was like, okay, so I can just make it work with that. And so I've been trying specifically to make it work. So normally if you see that, do I have Quickshell running? No. But see, if I run Quickshell, what you see now is actually the size of the window, and it's click through. Like I can do that, but this is not click through. So that's the point. I can use that to actually create my window, but there is a catch when you do that. Technically speaking, the layer you created, so the layer window, which is the panel window technically, but in my case I call the layer window. What happens is technically the window is on top of the entire screen, which also means no exclusivity. So I can't just define that as an exclusive part of the layout, which in some way is annoying, but in some is not. So I was debating with myself if I should generate other windows just for the sake of making them like forcing forcing the what's the name, the exclusive region. But I don't think it's a good idea. I think it would make more sense to just say, hey, just modify your compositor so you don't have this window, and then having one for the bar that is will be on top there, and this will be and this will be, of course, exclusive because it's a bar, so I need that. But the rest should not be exclusive because I want to use also the drawer that we have in the Solamane in this Solamane configuration that I'm just gonna go there. This one. So yeah, you see, because I want something similar like that. So yeah. Making another window would be okay. I don't think it should widget take too much computer resources. So that's the thing. That's the thing for that. I discussed that with a friend, and I need to check just to be sure. But of course I have stuff that run fast here, but that's normal. But Quickshell is it big? That's the question. Yeah, Quickshell is there, so it doesn't take a lot for the moment. But I wonder if I put more window, will it actually increase the memory footprint, or will it stay kind of the same? That's the thing, right? If the memory footprint doesn't really change, the more windows you pile on top, I guess it's okay. But if it increases the memory footprint, I will have an issue with that. But we'll see. For the moment, I'm not gonna put them because it's a bit too much, in my opinion. What we want... Sorry, just for me. What we want is something a bit different, which is... I want to first have these little borders around. That's the main priority for me, the borders. Because, yeah, and I want to make them with the shape directly, so I can also conform everything with the shape, just like they did here. So I need to understand how I make the fucking shape, and that's the thing. So for the moment, I remove the rectangle because, yeah, still color transparent. I have the red, but let's just do black. But you won't see it because I have no path, no nothing. So I did some tests, and as you can see, it's not really viable. Let's just do it transparent, but or maybe something that could be useful, which is 80000 26 8. Okay, so like that I can see the shape, and as you can see, the shape is bad. It doesn't work. It's not exactly positioned where I want it to be, which is an issue. So you will see this. That's normal. I'm doing my best. Also, the shape doesn't stop me from clicking, by the way, as you can see, because it's just drawn, but it's not a window. It's just drawn in the window. But this is the click-through mask, so I don't care. So I want to go back to the shape, just to be sure of what I'm doing, because so for the shape, yeah, I have shape path, and then path line and path arc. That's the thing I'm gonna have to use. So yeah, see path for detail overview. So path line, path arc, so these two. Yeah. So I need to wrap my head around how it works, because I'm not sure. Also, the stroke width is just... I'm using a defined size here, but yeah. Because I need to know where you position it. I position it to root that, so the static start right. I think the position of the start is, well, 0, 0 is just the top of the screen, so there, as you can see, is the top of the screen. But now, what I did is wrong. The lines are still positioned correctly, but not all of them. And specifically, my arc is weird. Yeah, if I remove the arc, so it's hard to see, but there is red here and then red here, and I have 3 lines. So normally I should have another line that goes from there to there, which should be the size of the screen, because if I use the root size or root 8 and wide, which corresponds to the full width and height of the screen, I need to position myself here. But my position is more like, is it negative y? I don't think it is. Because if I do 0 root 8, I think it's this one. Let me try. Oh, it changes so much. It's so weird. Yeah, okay. So here it goes well to that and that. Okay. So that's interesting. So now, if I do that, it goes from root width to y0. Which is interesting because root width to relative x relative y. It was relative to the start, right? Yeah. So relative x is there, relative y is there, so it makes sense. I'm using my fingers, you don't see it, but I'm using my fingers. So okay. And then if I want to do root right, it doesn't work. But if I... Does that change anything if I switch them? Oh. The order matters. Oh. That's interesting. Okay. The order matters. The way you create the line matters. I didn't think they would. But making a shape means you need to... Okay. Okay. But then... Okay, so if I do root right here for this one, and I remove this one, and I remove this one, because it goes to the last one, okay. But if I do 0, it goes there and there. Okay. And is it like relative to the new starting points? Because imagining that it's the new starting point, it would mean like that. Or more like that. No. I think... Because if you are... Oh no. Actually, if it's relative, it should be something like that. Oh. So relative means the position next to in the path. Okay. So when you create a shape path, then it continues to the shape. Okay. So now y would be 0, but then the relative would be minus root y in that case. Yes. Okay. That makes sense to me. And now it means we're at this position, so we want to go to relative x being root right, or root 8 actually. No, 0. And relative y we want to be at root 8, or in that case negative. And I have... Okay. Okay. So that's how you do it. That makes sense. But then it should be inside out. Because then my position should be a bit like outside. Why would be inside out? Because I want the fill to be not the middle. Or I mean, if it's not... Honestly, if just I increase the size, would that work? Yeah, I mean, that would work. I can just do that. And I just feel color transparent, so it's easier for me to make. Sure, I can do that. But then I know I need to define the path arc. Because I really need an arc, or at least one, I mean, maybe 4 arc. If I do it like that, and then I limit it by a number. But that would make sense to me that we have arcs. And yeah, the position is there, but it should make more sense. So if I use it the relative, I'm actually gonna create the thing I want. So relative x, relative y. So where I'm positioned here, I'm positioned to the root y. So relative x would be something like a negative. So something like minus 100, let's do that. And then relative y 100, I think. And if I do that, it doesn't work. But if I do 100, it doesn't work either. Interesting. Because we are root right. Oh no. I should be root y. minus 100. And then the y should be like 10 or something. Oh yeah, no. Or maybe... No, because if I put it at 0, right? The arc... Yeah, the arc is there. So if I put it at 0... Oh, what I could do is actually minus 100 if I do that. And then the relative y plus 100. And the relative y 100. And then I can actually develop that in a way that is inward. For path arc, I have something that tells me it's in right, it's inward. Use large arc. Yeah. It doesn't change anything here, apparently. So it means I need to think differently how I put that. How does it look here? Yeah, it should look like that. It should look like an arc like that. So yeah. So it should be there. So if it starts, that's interesting. If I do that, no. But the relative y 0 doesn't work. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my fault. I'm on the right one. Relative I 0 or relative y. Okay. But then maybe 90. Oh, but then if I do that, I get not the right one. So the arc is not correctly positioned. How should I put that? How should I put the arc to be positioned correctly? If I want it to be like that, that's odd. If I use a large arc, it doesn't change. And I still need to use this, like... Imagine that I go to root 8 with that arc. Yeah, the arc is outside of the window. It's outside of the screen even. So... not something I like. How should I do that? It's annoying that it's outward like that. Can I invert? Okay, if I invert the radius, would that do something? Absolutely not. I'm gonna try again. Oh, but if I have the radius at 100, so if it's big enough, it actually... Okay. So 10 was... So the radius was the issue. So there was a sweet spot where the radius... Okay, 50 is too much. Okay, I'm starting to... Just gonna do it like that, it's gonna be easier. Okay. So if the radius is equal to the position... Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Math. So it means that if I do that and I take the 100, imagining I do that, it's a bit small, but imagining I do the same to, like, I don't know, 50, let's say that. Seems okay to me, like that, and then we move the other one. So we have 60, this one will be 60. And so, since the relative width starts at 60, for example, we do 60 here, and so the position gets there. And so we have technically what I was looking for, even though I don't have the color outward. Can you invert the shape path? Like, you can write the shape path and then just do it differently? Is it for the shape? No, it's in the shape path, right? So path, the shape path. Let's just check what do we have. Fill item, fill rule. Oh, fill rule. I like that. This property holds the fill rule. The value is shape path, odd even fill. For an explanation of fill rule, see. Okay. Odd even fill, winding fill. Okay, so no. Fill item. As a field by shape, the item will be texture provider such as layer item, shadow effect, social and image. Big random field color that we know, dash pattern, dash offset, okay. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to be easy to actually do that. Like to tell it, okay, I want you to fill outward. I don't think it doesn't sound easy to me. But specifically speaking, we have something that is not bad. Because now I can actually have that. Whoa. Like that. Okay. So I have the new arc. Perfect. And so for the path line here. So this path line going from there to there. So it's not a root width. I want minus 60. Or plus 60. Yeah, plus 60 makes more sense. And technically speaking, I would like plus 60 times 2. Because we position ourselves there. We do that. Then I want another arc. And so... Yup. Relative, but... Oh yeah, yeah, no. Because if I do that, then... my relative y is at 0, my relative... Yeah, so in that case it should be root height plus 60. No. Oh, root height minus 60. No. Oh yeah, no, I don't need that. Should it just be 0 then? No. Kinda. Okay. But not exactly 0, so 50, 60 makes more sense to me, but like... And if I do minus 60... Yeah, okay. Makes sense, minus 60. So we have it, and now we have the last line, and for these lines coming up completely... So, same for technically this one should be times 2 for its position. And relative y is 0, makes sense. I'm surprised that you're not positioned correctly. Oh, because you start... Oh. Okay, my bad. And if I make you start at 60? Yeah. Oh. So if I make you start at 60, then I can actually offset that correctly. 60 being our radius. For the moment, it's a magic number. I'm gonna change that. You know what? I'm gonna change it right now. Probably real, I suppose. Size 60. Or radius 60. And we're just gonna... Radius with a root. Alright. Oh. Oh, maybe it doesn't work because some should be int, some should not. Might be the reason. Or maybe not. Real. I think it works if it's real. So then let's just do that. 0. Yeah, it works. Okay. So it's just because I was offsetting. It's my fault. So root.radius, which is okay. And technically speaking, minus radius times 2. If I do that, then it works. For the rest. And so this last path line doesn't go to root 8 minus, so plus radius plus root radius times 2. Or maybe not. Does it stop? Doesn't seem to be to me. Okay. So if the end is there, relative x is not moving, but the end is there, then imagining I just give it 60 just for the test. Doesn't change. So minus root radius again. Yeah. Minus root 8 plus root radius to me makes more sense. That, or if it starts at root radius, no, it should start at 0 in x, otherwise it doesn't work. It should start at 0 in x, otherwise it doesn't work. And so, so this path arc should be in relative y to 0. It doesn't, or maybe root height, I guess. Oh no, root dot radius, but then it doesn't need to be negative. Yes it does, but not for the x. Okay, but then it means that my position should be, or maybe relative y should be at 0. Then no, but yeah, no. Okay, it works if this is not positioned, is positioned correctly. Yeah, okay. And so relative x. And so if I do minus radius, perfect. Okay, I have it. Perfect. So we have, technically speaking, the thing. Like it's pretty much what I was hoping for to a certain extent, though, because the problem would be the feeling. If I change that to 40, okay, I can change. If I change that to 20, okay, so it works. My system works, and it's modifiable. Perfect. I like that. That's what we wanted. Same for the size of the stroke. It's a bit big, but I can do that, and then the stroke is smaller. And I like that. My problem here would mostly be... again, the feeling. How do you feel it? And it's really the feel rule, but the feel rule is like... Not even feeling... It would feel the middle, because it's just the middle part, and I don't want that. I want to invert. I want to feel the other one. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I'm seeing something. Oh. So that's why you're having problem, OBS. Okay, I need to check that after the stream. Okay. Encoder overloaded, interesting. Try to find a better way to encode it. Okay. But yeah. We have pretty much what I was hoping for to a certain extent, because if I start filling, as you can see, it will fill. So I need to do it in a way that I can see it fills the middle part, and I don't want that. I'd like the fill rule to be different. UML shape path fill outside. Shape QML type. Yeah. It doesn't really help me. I don't think there is a way to shape outward. How do you... In mode, yeah. Set this property to define what happens on the path of different sets of items. The shape is rendered as its native size depending on the size. The intel shape is scaled to fit the item. The shape is scaled uniformly. Okay, fill mode, prefer render type. And then render geometry curve, shape null, shape ready, shape processing. Because it has the multiple status, which makes sense. Check whether the interior of the path that will be filled if you're running with fill of any shape path that makes up the shape content at a given point. The more complex and numerous shape paths you add, the less efficient it is to check, which can potentially slow down even delivering your application, so it should be used with care. Okay, I'm okay with that. Development of quick items contain. Check only if the weather given path is set the rectangular bounding box. This is the most efficient implementation, which is why it's the default. Okay. Bounding rate contains the initiated bounding rate of the subpath in the shape. This property was introduced in 56, okay. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure you can actually fill outward. One random type is shape geometry render or shape curve render, a certain amount of processing of the input passes on the CPU during the polishing phase of the shape. This is potentially expensive to offload this to work. Okay. Okay. Contains mode, enumeration, bounding rect. Contains the united bounding rect of all subpaths in the shape, but it's read only. So... fill mode enumeration, no resize. The shape is rendered as size of the item. Stretch. The shape is scaled to fit the item. Preserve this previous shape as a crop. This probably been just with shape. Okay. Prefer another enumeration. Okay. Run the type. Size okay. Okay. So there is nothing I can actually fill it. Yeah. This property depends on the quality item used to by the fill. Okay. Fill rule enumeration. I'm gonna try that just to be sure, because I know by default it don't even fill. But let's try. I don't think it will change anything, but we will do that. Fill rule. That. Yep, that changed nothing because it's the middle one. So it would mean I need to create the shape outward. How do I do that then? Ah, that's hard. How do I make the shape outward? It should be... yeah. How do you do that? How would you do that? That's... yeah, how would you do that? Hold on. I'm gonna reduce the sound just for a moment. So, thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd be able to do that. But I think it's important because if I want to offset that, I need to have the color outward. So I need to define the path outward. That's for sure. And I need to define the fill color like that, so I don't need to create more shapes. It's just filled outside. Which in my opinion makes a lot of good sense. So then yeah. I don't think there is a good solution besides that. Because then I don't have to actually have a stroke. I can just have the fill color. And it makes more sense. You can just fill it. The stroke width can be 0. And the rest can be filled. So I don't need to do it. And it's okay. And the only way you control that is by using the radius and... yeah, the size would be just how you move. Like how further away it is from the edge of the screen, that's pretty much it. That's gonna be the size. But then for that, I need to actually invert the way I make the shape. So we're gonna do it again. I mean, at least it was an interesting learning experience, that's for sure. We're gonna do that quickly. I want to change so I can see the value, but I want it to be less aggressive. So we're gonna do a 30. All right. Just for the alpha channel, just being a little bit more like legible for me. So let's start at 0 and then we'll fine-tune that later. And before that, just let's do it like that. So we have this version. I'm just gonna do it like that. So we have an ID first. So temp first version with shape inward, and I want the outward. So we'll just do that. Start Y at 0 again. Then we want the path line. Of course, this will be removed just to help me understand what I'm doing, since I'm still learning. Maybe it's not even possible what I'm trying to do, but we'll try. So... imagining I'm just gonna try to make a square and then I'm gonna fuck around with the arcs, but... if I want to make a square that is outward, how would you do that? Is it even possible? Cumulus shape path fill outside of the shape. Cumul fill outside shape path. Quickshell, I care. Doesn't really help me a lot. Is there anything that comes from shape? Shape renders a path. Bounding web contains mod. Yeah. Because it's a shape. Vendor type status, vendor extension, vertical alignment. Because then you have the fill rule that we check, but the fill rule doesn't change anything. What is meter limit? When just set to shape path, meter join this. Okay. The path only has straight line, no curves. So path in, path in. This property is scope characteristic of the shape. If set, this instance may allow optimized rendering. Ooh, that's cool. By default, no, it's a set and can be in combination with following value. Fill on right. The path follows the true type conversion where outlines around solid fill of their control points or the core clouds. Okay, the path has no hole, or mathematically speaking, it is simply connected. Path non-intersecting. The path outside of it is okay. Path non-overlapping control point triangle. Path quadratic. Does not have any dents or hole. All straight lines between 2 points inside the shape will be completely inside the shape. Can I do that? Can I? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try that because I'm interested. I'm just gonna re-render that shape. Oh yeah, I'm gonna re-render that shape. I'm gonna make it again less annoying to look at. So let's just do 0.5. So I can see 0A. 0F. Yeah, 0F is okay. Let's do that. That's fine. Like that is okay. So, okay, I see a bit better. 0F is better. Because I still see it's different, so it's okay. And so we want to have a path ins, I suppose. Shape path convex. Cannot assign. Okay, how do you define that? Quick shapes path ins. Path ins. Do you do something like in Rust? No. No. Path convex. Okay. How do you use that? Okay. How do you use that? Oh, it's not... Okay. Okay, my bad. That was my fault. If I do that, then it's optimized rendering, which is cool. Doesn't change really nothing, in my opinion, but sure. Sure. Does it change anything in... No. Doesn't change anything, apparently. But it's okay. But then anyway, I have the idea. So now we will try to do it again. At this time outward, that's gonna be hard. I'm not sure how I should do the outward way. Specifically speaking, imagining I take that back. So I just do that and I just do that. Which is the position that is not correct because I'm just gonna do good right in that case. Oh, hold on. Imagining I invert that thought. How should I invert that? Oh, hold on. Imagining we start at relate. Yeah, we start we are at 0, but I want to be at root 8. In that case, it goes there. So that's the path. Imagine I'm like there. 2 root 8. Oh, that's weird. Relative x, if I put it at 10, it does that. Oh yeah, because the position, yeah. Imagining, yeah. Let's just do that so we have a 10, just so it's easy. It's minus 10, yeah. I think minus 10 should not do that, but sure. Okay. Oh no, I know why. I'm a moron. That's my fault. That's my fault, I'm a moron. That's me. That's on me. Okay. So we have that, but there is no shape for the moment. So let's say we are at -10 in that case. And let's position ourselves here, just so it's a bit down. And technically speaking, -10 times 2, so 20, but whatever. So we have the idea. I'm just good. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I'm just gonna also define a property. Just fast, just a temp property. So we have that. Margin. So temp margin in that case. Yeah, not. Yeah, virtual. Follow the convention. So alright. S temp. So 10. Temp margin. Oh yeah. I need to ID path. Alright. You have that. Could be using parent, but whatever. I think it's okay. So like that we are positioned. So this is this is outward, right? So let's imagine our x is at 0, the relative x is at 0, but then no, the relative y is at 0, not that. The relative y is at 0, but then it would be root times y minus path temp margin times 2. Yeah. For the moment we have what we want, but no, because the shape is actually being drawn inward. No matter where I go, I will not be able to do it outward. Because now the shape is drawn in, like, yeah. It's drawn on the screen, which is what you want normally, but in my case, I don't. Specifies the section of this path that will be displayed. The section is defined by the path length for... Okay. Define the transform to be applied to the path field pattern. Oh. Oh, it has no effect if the field is a solid color or transparent. By default, no field transform is in abundant. Damn. It's just like, yeah, damn. It's just how they project the image. Fuck. Ah, it's annoying as fuck. That's annoying as fuck. Ah, question. Oh, wow. Sidebar. I think it was content, maybe. No. Background, I suppose. Stroke with -1, so there's no stroke. Path, so the position of the shape path. So by default, it should be 0, 0, I guess. So that's why they position themselves. And so they do root warp white, root native running. Okay, because they do things like that. And they have only 2 arcs and 2 path lines. And behavior of in color because see anim because they have that for animating the change of the color. So that's, I think that's how they actually make the outward. But then how do you do that? Native rounding, wood rounding, native rounding, wood rounding. Okay, so rounding, which is config border rounding. Rounding X, which is panel notification 8, 0, and then 0, 0, okay, yeah. Oh, that's how they compute the rounding, okay, I see. So then I don't really need to think about that. Yeah, because then the position, yeah, it's just the position modify with the modification white and stuff, so that's how they modify it by themselves, but yeah. Which I will have to do in the future if I want to have the notification being in that and stuff. But then they fill color, yeah, they have a fill color. So a shape start at 0, 0, I suppose. Like if you do shape path, because it's what they have, right? They have a shape path, so we use the same thing. So innovate path. The body of starting position of the path, I suppose it starts at 0, 0. I'm just gonna define them at 0, 0, but I think they start at 0, 0. So then the way they do it is interesting because they have like relative x, relative y, okay. Relative with diff of a rounding times 2, okay. So the position is minus. So they position themselves. If you start 0, 0, the x is positioned as, let's imagine it's that, so minus that, and they position it to 0, so it's on the other side. That's the first one. It's outside. Then they do an arc. So let's just define that without the margin. Let's do that. I don't think we need the margin anymore. Then they do an arc. The arc goes from, in our case it's just rounding, so root rounding. So yeah, minus root rounding in that case, I think, or radius. Yeah, radius. Yeah, let's rename that to rounding. I prefer rounding a bit more. So your position there, relative y route rounding again, then radius x is route rounding because it's the same thing, radius, and then radius y is also root rounding again, and I can't write for the love of me. So that's the path arc. Then they create a new line. This line is positioned at the relative x of 0, which makes sense to me. And then they have root wiper 8, so minus root rounding times 2, which also makes sense because it's what you want if you want to have the thing. So I don't see the shape anymore. No matter what, I don't see the shape anymore. But it's fine. Because then we have another path arc, which is like that. Radius x, which would be this one. It's just the utils. Utils is utility for rounding. Yeah. Exactly the same thing. And then we have a path line that is made again, and this path line is root white plus root rounding in our case because there is nothing else, and the relative y is 0, and I don't see it. So yeah, I don't see it. I see just a point here and a point here. So that was nice to test. But then it means that it's not really outward, but then they have a fill color anyway. So, where the fuck do you put that? The Warper Humor, I guess that's that. Props. Okay. There's the notification, the group list, the stuff like that. Native doc, content. The question would be, where do you use the background? Like, the background is the shape path. Where do you apply it? Because I don't think that's how I should be applying it. Hey, hold on. I do anchor fill parents, but anchor center in parents. And can I have margins? They have margins, right? Would the margins actually... No, the margins won't do anything. Also, center in parent did something weird. But yeah, no, the margin would not do anything. Yeah. Oh. Hold on. Nah, that would be weird. Nah, that would be weird. They wouldn't do that. That would be weird, right? OS identification launcher drawers. Because if you have the drawers... Drawers border. No, so backgrounds. Shape, where is the background? Notification, session background, okay. Anchor fill parent, makes sense to me. So that's the full background, okay, so yeah, and that's why. So I need to be able to unravel that. Warper wood panel sidebar. Start wood right. Start X wood right. That's why there is no... Okay. Where is the centering then? Hold on. Okay, so no. Bad. Bad. But then... Wood panels notification 8. If I start you this way? No. Root panels notification. Okay. So that makes sense. That's how everything is connected. That's how everything is a shape. Okay. That makes sense. That makes some sense to me. It still doesn't help, but I mean, it helps a bit, but yeah. Which would mean... Yeah. Which would mean I need to position it differently. Fully. Make it work. It's really annoying though. Oh. Oh, hold on. It's a shape with multiple shapes, right? Yes. Oh. Oh. Hold on, I think I have an idea. Oh, that's gonna be a big one, but I think it's okay. Because if I... Yeah. I can use that to my advantage. I could close the shape the other way. So like, let me explain. Let's say we put at 0, 0, right? We won't do that because whatever. So let's say we do that at 0, 0, okay? Or in that case 0 radius, whatever. But like, that's the one thing we had before. Yeah, we don't know radius. Yeah, sure. So if I do that, that's the thing we had before, right? And actually, what I could do is I flip, like, not like I flip it, but I create the box as if, like, instead of having it connected like that, like as a box here, I connect it outside the screen. So basically here I would have something like that, and then something like that, and then something like that, and oh, but then I will need multiple, yeah, we need multiple shape, but I don't think it's an issue, because then I can just, for example, if I can create a shape that goes there, goes up until down, and then view it outside of the screen, view it outside of the screen, and then goes down. And so if I do that, I have one shape. And I can do that for like 4 shapes. And so it gives me the outside. It colors them however I want them to be colored. And it works. I think that's the solution. Because then I can make it really easily. Because I could do tuck, 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 for example, for this one, and make it work. You know what? Let's try. Let's try that. I'm gonna remove the path ins because if it's not down, I'm not, like, if it's not done, I don't want to make it so there is an in for optimization. We'll optimize when we know the shape is done. But imagining that I have like path arc, okay, so just to see, where is it? It's there. Perfect. So I want a path line again. This line would go out of bounds because we don't care. So the position is there, which is relative position, root rounding. So I'd like it to go from relative x to root rounding so yeah, minus root rounding, and relative y minus root rounding, or no, not minus, actually just 0. Oh no, sorry, I think, yeah, no, that's yeah, the 0 is there, and then minus root rounding. So as you can see, these go there. We're okay with that now. So now I create another one that goes from root width or minus width and 0. And so you don't see it, but it's behind. Makes sense. Again. So now, what I can do is I can add another path if I want, but that would be a bit too much. But I could. Which is... would that even be useful to use that? Minus root wide plus root rounding. I think it's easier to do it like that. So it goes there. So the line is just pop, connected here. Now I would like another path arc. I'm sure you can optimize that, but whatever. I want another path arc, right? This one will go from... Or would that be 0? No. I think it makes sense, but not this way. So use large arc. Yeah, no. Okay. No. Oh, Oh, but I know what I could do instead of doing it like that. Would be easier to actually, instead of having a line, I could define an arc first. Because if I defend an arc first, but it's not a root running, right? Okay. Oh yeah, no. If I defend an arc first, it does it like that. No, not possible. So it's okay, but not exactly. Oh. How do I make it so it's inverted? If I invert the radius, I don't see doing anything, but yeah. Inverting the radius doesn't change anything. I think it's just, it's unsigned, so whatever you put will be unsigned. Yeah, no. Oh, but what I could do is literally like that. And I remove that, just... Alright. Okay, doesn't change anything. Oh yeah, no. Minus. Makes sense. So now we want another path line, and then we want a path arc. That's gonna be the solution. So now if I go there... this path line should be on the relative x of 0, but then root rounding. Okay. And now it should go from like that. Like that. Like that. And now if I do the fill, I like to change the fill to... Who's boss now? Who's boss now? Okay? Okay. Who's boss now? I'm the boss. Hey. Hey. Am I not good at what I'm doing? Yeah. Yeah, it works. Fuck you, it works. Okay. Okay. That helps me to a certain extent. Because I still want to offset it from the screen to have a size. So the size should be offsetting to give it a bit more. But I don't think... So instead of using the root size, let's imagine we do like a stroke wide of 1 or like 3, just so I see the stroke. 3 is nice, so I see the stroke, but I don't care. Alright, but now imagining that I do root size. Alright. Would that... No, that doesn't color it. Oh, that doesn't color it, but... Yeah. Yeah. That gives a bit more space for that one. That gives a bit more space for that one. Ooh. Yeah, but it's okay. Okay. think I would put it there, or maybe just a plus in that case. So that gives it to a certain extent, but not really. So maybe because I need to also modify those to be positioned, or maybe negatively here. No. How do I import the size? How do I make it so the position? Yeah. How do I make it so I offset the position? I think that's the thing I need to think of. Because if I put that there, so I don't need to change that, but the relative y should be... Oh yeah, no, I need... No, okay. I need to change that to... no. Size, not quite. So this one is okay. Because then it actually offset it to a certain extent. Can I change the size so it's a bit bigger, so we have a bigger ID? Because it's... Yeah. Okay. But then you should still be... starting at 0. Yeah, you should still be starting at 0. And you should be starting plus root size. Yeah, otherwise it's wrong. So yeah, you should be starting at 0. And then the root should be there. And so... Or maybe like that, actually. Yeah, but no. Yeah, no. Is the other one. Oh. Oh, yeah. 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 Should not be there. Should not be there. Actually, it should... Okay. That's the first arc. This one going from there to there by rounding. But you're rounding to relative x rounding plus... No, I don't think I should move you. But then... Yeah, no, I need to do negative with that size, otherwise it doesn't transform correctly. Since it doesn't transform correctly, then I need to... Good question. Because its position go... Okay. Again, we're gonna do it again. So I don't need those anymore because I exactly what I was looking for. So it's perfect. I also don't need those anymore. Because then I can actually make the warper, the full warper. So let's remove those so I have an idea of where it's at. Okay. So for the moment it's like that, but it's fine. Or is it? No, it should start at 0, that's for sure. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Hold on. Puff, 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 puff. Yeah, I can do that like that. You don't see because I'm doing it with my finger. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So... Okay, I could do it like that. And then... The X will not be a problem. It goes there. And then my position would be... root... rounding. Something like that. To a certain extent. Oh no, it needs to be raw. Okay, yeah, no. This should be wood white. Yeah, just to make it simple. Something like that. The Bathak, I don't want it for the moment. So we have it. It's at root 0. Okay. No, maybe not wood white because minus root or minus parent or path start x. Yeah, I can use that. That's a solution. I can actually use the start x directly. So now we have that. And now I'd like to make a knock inward. So relative x like that. Oh yeah, but no, I can't do a knock inward like that. Yeah. I can't do it like that, that's a problem. Oh, this is annoying as fuck. Also, it appears to me that you can't really see what I'm doing exactly, so hold on a second. Up. Alright, the music will be there. So you see my dilemma here. Okay, that's annoying. That's annoying as fuck. Yeah, because now, how do I make the arc? Again, same question. How do you make the arc in wood? Like, oh, maybe if I do it like that. Oh. Yeah. 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 Nah. Yeah. I'm taking it the wrong way, I think. That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay. So maybe I don't take it the right way. Maybe I'm not making it the right way. Maybe I should actually have a path arc by default at the start and then change. So we start at rounding plus wood size, which makes sense, and now I want to go relative y to rounding and relative x I don't want to move. I should be at 0. So something like that. No, actually that's not what I want you to do. So root rounding, I suppose? Yeah, but no, not in that space. Use large arc. True. Yeah, no, because it's just, yeah. If I go back to that, it still doesn't do the... I can still... It's hard for me to give it like a position, like... Yeah. It's hard for me to actually give it the size I want. If you go back to that and I just like stroke width to -1, I still want it to be big. I still want these two little notches to be to have like a thickness at some point. So that's annoying. That's annoying. That's annoying. That's annoying. Because then how do I do that? How do I move those? I think I should keep that path like that. I think, yeah. I think that's the better solution. Can remove that again and remove those because, yeah. They were just a test. But now, how do I tell it? Okay, I want you to generate the shape further away, so you have kind of a size, in a way. You know what I'm gonna do first? I'm gonna just do that, so I can go back. That's gonna be the worst commit. So let's just be sure what I'm doing. Let's do the let's do that. Feet, sidebar. Start adding the sidebars warp of the screen. Just fast. So we push it and I can go back to it. So now it's easier for me to reset stuff using Git. Should be using that. If you have Git, use it better than I do, especially for that shit. But yeah. Okay, anyway, so we have something. Now you get positioned there, right? Should I hold on a second. Probably int or real in that case. Because get it, it's a real white no. White minus minus the size. Would that work? That does fucking nothing. Or does it? Okay. I mean, no. 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 No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay, well, that was, you know, that was a try. You know what? Yeah. I think it's better to try and be sure, but yeah. I'll find a solution, probably. I like to have that set up, honestly. If I have it set up, it's gonna be useful. I want to finish the stream on that. Like, I want to make that shape. Specific shape. If this shape is great, I'm okay with that. Okay. And then I have the idea I want to make. I obsess on the wrong fucking details, I know, but it's just so funny to me to do it. So yeah. If you're positioned like that. Oh no. Minus. No. No. Okay. Which? Okay. Okay. Hold on. I think I have it. Because if I do that, then okay. We're cool with that. But then the start should be minus root size. So we're a bit outside. Yeah. Yeah. So with one link, we don't change that. Then we have that. We go to relative x to minus root rounding. Nah. No. Okay. Yeah, I know. Ah. Ah, that's annoying. That's annoying. How do I make that? How do I position the path so it's bigger? The start should be the same, I think. So the start should not move, that's for sure. But then, this first line is the line that goes from the start. So it should not change. Because it should go 4. Or not. It should go there. But then your position on X. So for the path, okay. Can I do? Yeah. No. Okay. Oh no. Hold on. Oh, that's a lot of lines, but whatever. Relative X 0. Relative Y. Font size. So. Oh no. No. Oh, I inverted. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. No. Sorry. Yeah. Look upon me and find me. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because it should be... Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it should be like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, okay. So the size will be... Okay, so the shape will be a bit more complex. I'm sure I can simplify it, honestly. Maybe you don't need to trace that many lines, but yeah. Just it helps me. I'm gonna just do that so I have a better idea where you are. Okay. So then, if I do that, it goes there. But it goes... Why do I have 2 here? Makes no... Oh, that makes no sense. It should go into minus wood width plus wood time radius. Rounding, sorry, not radius, rounding. Yeah. And then I should have a path arc. Ooh. Ooh, stinky. Okay. Can I change the size to 15 so I have an idea? Yeah. Okay. 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 It's still not good, but okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, no. Okay, no. Okay, no, 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 no. Yeah, no, 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 no. This new line here. So that's this one. And so this one should go... Exactly. Exactly, it should go there. It should go there. That's what you want to be, to make it work. And so the first path line, yeah, is okay. So then you go like that. No. I'm gonna remove those just so I see where it's going. I don't know where it's going. Oh yeah, not minus. Yes. Okay. Still no good position for the first path line because it should... Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm still locked to a certain extent, actually. Yeah, because now... I still have this issue. Oh. Oh, that's annoying. Oh. But I can't position the thing. Because that's the start line. Yes, that's the start line. And so I can't position the thing like... If I do root.size, which is an ID, it does that, right? Because it moves the entire path. So again, it's not possible. And since I need to make the arcs... Oh, but hold on. But hold on. Wouldn't that be possible to do that? It seems to be, if I go from there, so this point go there, so this point go there. So it does the other way around if I'm coming from this position, right? I'm not sure. Ah, that's annoying. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, that's annoying as fuck, actually. But warning makes sense here, but yeah, it's annoying as fuck because now... Because the first position is there. Oh. Oh. Yeah. And I can change the feeling way. I think there is a way to change the feeling, right? The way it's feel. Film mode. Shape. No, contains mode, no. Film mode. No, it's not film mode, it's in the shape path, I remember. I've seen it multiple times. It's the way they it's the insta winding feel. This one. Feel rule. It's the feel rule for the shape path. Okay, yeah. Still doesn't work. But sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because if I do that doesn't work. Of course that doesn't. It's hard. It's really hard actually. Yeah. I want to make it so you have a size like oh, that's hard. Oh, this is so annoying. Well. No. I think I'm gonna... Yeah. I think I'm gonna sit on that for longer. I really want to have that. I really want to have it perfect, to have it beautiful, so then I can just make the rest. Because it's like the positioning. I think I need that warper to be perfect. Or at least perfect for me. So yeah. I'm gonna stop on that. We didn't quite have exactly what I wanted, but we got closer to how to use shape, so it's already a success in my opinion. We learn more, and that's important. I'll see you tomorrow for some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, because of course on Monday we have PMD, usually, unless I have an exam, but I don't at the moment. So yeah. And for the rest of the week I need to create the schedule. But I know for the Monday I have that. So yeah. See you on Monday, people. See you tomorrow. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you all for watching. And yeah, bye.